No more harassment! No more harassment!
Sad to say that situation of safety of journalists in Eastern Africa is very shocking because the region is the deadliest region for journalists in Africa. It is the worst region in terms of persecuting journalists, or in other words, it is the worst jailer of journalists in Africa. Impunity is rampant. When you look at, attacks on journalists, they have become like part of the norm. My country, Somalia, for example, is the deadliest country for journalists in the region. We have lost 78 journalists in less than 7 years. And you could see that is a serious loss for the profession of the country. And about 3 of the suspected killers were prosecuted. That also shows you the level of pervasiveness, of impunity. And whenever somebody attacks a journalist, whenever somebody kills a journalist, it has become like, okay, he or she can get away with this kind of heinous crime. But when somebody else from another profession is murdered or victimized, then you will see some sort of movement to secure justice. But of course we know the attacks on journalists are politically motivated. They are not happening by accident, or they are not part of the rampant or widespread violence in Somalia. It is a targeted, well-planned. It has been, the person has been followed, where he lives, where he works, or how does he move within the city, and who he is with. So whole the environment has been inspected, and that is when the assassins carry out, their murderous acts. So in this situation is something that is quite hurting. But I wanted to say this. In the fight for safety of journalists, in the fight for freedom of association, the ILO is playing a great role, and the case in point is the situation in Somalia. My union, the National Union of Somali Journalists, NUSOJ, has been at the forefront of fighting. It is right to freedom of association. It is right to exist independently, out of the control of government. How do we exist? How do we survive? How do we organize our members without the hand of government manipulating us, disturbing our internal democratic processes? How do we make sure that whatever we do is based on our own will, not a bureaucratic government official sitting his office dictating who should be in the union, who should not be in the union? That was an uphill task. It was a struggle, painful, from 2011 up to now, and I can tell with confidence today we have won that battle. And the way we have won that battle was using the ILO supervisory mechanism. And we went to the ILO to file a complaint on egregious violation of the right to freedom of association, where union leaders were charged with treason, arrested, imposed a travel ban, their union meetings were disbanded, union members were murdered. This was totally unacceptable. And judges who even made a ruling in favor of a union were sacked for simply handing down a court ruling in favor of the trade union. That has been an issue for us, where we have to take to the ILO, and we are very pleased that the ILO has adjudicated, especially the ILO Committee on Freedom of Association, and it has given NUSOJ, and of course the bigger umbrella, the National Trade Union Federation, the Federation of Somali Trade Unions, that we have won our case. Our rights of freedom of association were protected by the ILO, and confirmed the violations that we faced, and the government has been directed to do the right thing, to stop infringing our right to freedom of association, to stop meddling the internal affairs of our union, to recognize the bona fide leadership of the union, and to conduct independent judicial investigations of the killing, the arrest, harassment of our members.